Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back. So today I wanted to go over sort of like the basic resources that I use for Grand Cross to give me sort of the information that I use just when playing the game that I can't really get inside the game itself. So the first thing I wanted to go over was the actual like reset of the game and everything like that. So there's a daily reset and a weekly reset. The daily reset, it's going to happen. Unfortunately, the biggest gripe I have with the global version of the game is that the daily reset is actually in the middle of the night. It's actually, for me personally, it's at 2 a.m., which is Eastern Standard Time for me, because I'm on the East Coast. I'm pretty sure the game developers, they post all of their times in Pacific Standard Time, which is for the West Coast, if I'm correct on that. I think I am. Yeah, Pacific Standard Time. So they're on the West Coast, and yeah, they reset the game at 2 a.m. for me, which means that I can't really do a whole lot of overnight farming unless I just stay up until reset and then start the auto farm from there and then go to bed, which is a little annoying, but it is what it is. I can't really do anything about that. So yeah, 2 a.m. is when the daily reset happens. That's when the game is going to switch over and consider it a new day, which means your dailies get reset, etc. You can basically start doing all of your dailies and stuff like that after that time. And then weekly reset is on Tuesdays. They do maintenance. If we go over to the forums here and we click on the latest sort of patch note, the update preview, you can see that theirs are from 9 p.m. PST, which is, for me is 12 a.m. And then it goes all the way to 11:30. Sometimes it'll be like a full 3 hours, but most of the time recently it has been 2.5 hours. And then sometimes they get done with the maintenance a little bit beforehand, so they'll launch the game like 15 minutes early or something like that. It just depends on how smoothly the update goes. Obviously, if it's a big update, sometimes they have to push it back. It really just all depends on whatever they're doing and how easy it is for them to do stuff on their server side. But yeah, normally maintenance is around 3 hours ish. Most of the time it's a little bit less, but yeah, weekly reset is always on Tuesday. So, Monday night, Tuesday morning, I don't know specifically what it would be for certain time periods or time zones. But for me personally, in Eastern Standard Time, it is 12 a.m. On Tuesday mornings, and then all the way until 3 a.m. most of the time is when the maintenance sort of gets finished and rolls out. So that way you can kind of hop on the game and check out whatever's new in the game and see what kind of new events and banners and summons or whatever they have available. So that kind of brings me to the next point, is the forums. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure, I don't have the game up at the moment, but I'm pretty sure there's like a social media tab in the bottom right hand corner of the screen when you're in the tavern and stuff like that, that should have like a button where you can actually go to the forums. And I think it has links to their Facebook and maybe their YouTube page. I can't remember because I don't ever click on the button from in the game. But those are actually somewhat helpful because the forums is basically where the game gives all of their sort of update notices and any sort of information that the game is going to be going through. That's basically where you're going to find it at. Just in case you guys need any of this information, I actually have links to this and the Grand Cross database, which we'll be going over in just a minute. I leave those links in my description, like they're just part of my description. So if you need those, feel free, scroll down, you can click on those links and go and check out the websites for yourself, get acquainted with it, figure out how to use it, because it's quite helpful. This one is particularly helpful because these are actual notes from the devs. They give you a lot more information and stuff like that. The basic thing to know about the forums is that they end up releasing these update preview and maintenance notices for whatever update it's going to be. We should be getting, I'm recording this on Sunday morning, it's 1 a.m. But it's like Saturday night, Sunday morning for me. And they should be releasing the next set of patch notes in roughly 24 or like 23 hours technically. So the update notice should be coming out within a day or so. And what that means is they normally release this update preview and maintenance notice, which ends up coming with a whole bunch of these like little sort of, like pictures or posters, I guess, or whatever you want to call them, of like, what kind of banner is going to be coming out, what the heroes skills and stuff like that looks like. They normally do, and then they'll do like a little picture of certain events and just general kind of stuff like that. They'll put little pictures of, you know, various things and kind of infographics and stuff like that, which is kind of helpful information and stuff. It just kind of goes over the general idea of what the update is. It goes over, you know, just various things about the update. And then the day after, whenever the maintenance goes live and the game actually goes down, so that way they can update the game, they will release sort of like the extended patch notes for the game. So you can see this is when they updated, or this is when they sent out the preview notice, which was on Sunday night, Monday morning. And then after that, once the maintenance starts happening, they released all of these. Like, they released from this 4 new heroes one all the way up to February week 1 event schedule, and obviously it depends on how much, you know, is in the update on whether or not they release a whole bunch of these. But these are basically just like different, you know, things that go over the different parts of the update, and they give like a little bit more in-depth information on the different pieces of the update. So it's kind of helpful information to kind of go over here and there. Obviously the forum has like an actual like user system where you can kind of go in and, you know, chat with people on the forums and stuff like that. From my experience, the forums on here can be pretty toxic, so be careful with that, I guess. Like a lot of it's a lot of the same people on here from my, you know, sort of experience with it. Like, I see a lot of the same sort of usernames and stuff on here, so it seems to be a pretty like small-ish community. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's fine. But, you know, if anything in the community sort of happens, then I don't know. There's a lot of vocal opinions for sure. So watch out for that, I guess. Other than that, we're going to head over to the database. This is sdsgc.gg. This is just like I think this is a fan-made sort of like community-based like website where they actually release, or they just basically have like a collection of information about the game, which is generally pretty helpful. I actually do not prefer the global version of this website. It's not bad, but the updates always seem to be very like you can see right here, they only have the last 5 updates and stuff like that. And just in general, like a lot of this information is kind of like lacking, and it's kind of out of date at this point. If you're familiar with the game, the fact that they have best PvP characters and Red Escanor is still on here. Red Escanor really hasn't been relevant since he released, so that's kind of interesting. But yeah, there's a lot better like characters and stuff like that in the game now that should be updated on this. I don't know exactly how often they update the global version of this, which, I mean, I guess they do relatively often, because they have a full characters list, and this is mainly what I use this website for, is to kind of go on here. If like these new characters, you can see the little N next to them, meaning new. You can kind of go on here and say like, hey, I don't know what this character does. He's brand new to the game, blah, blah, blah. Like, hey, this Red Shin, what does he do? I don't know. You can click on him. It'll tell you what all of his skills do. Even highlights the words that have like a special effect meaning to them. It kind of tells you what it means. You can look over their unique or passive skills and their ultimates and stuff like that. Like I said, the global edition of the game, or of this website, really just isn't as fleshed out as the Japanese and Korean version of the game is, or of the website. So I definitely recommend going up here to the very top right and clicking on the kr/jp, which is Korean/Japanese version. And although the updates and stuff like that are going to be for future patches that global will probably get, they'll probably be changed here and there because global and Japanese version of the game are not on the exact same page. But a lot of the information as far as like characters and stuff like that is going to be a little bit more updated and stuff like that, so they'll have characters that are already on the Japanese version of the game that we'll get later on global. So if I look up that same Shin and we click on him, it's a lot more like, I don't know, it just looks a lot nicer and neater in my opinion. But yeah, you can look at all of his skills and everything like that, and just it tells you, you know, general information and stuff like that. So I use it a lot for looking up character skills and passives and, you know, just general sort of stuff like that. If I'm actually interested in like the Japanese version of the game and seeing the new stuff that they have coming out, they do have the sort of like patch notes and everything like that on here, which is really helpful here and there. But I'm, you know, generally a global player, so I don't really look at a whole lot of this stuff unless it's just something that's really big news that I've seen, you know, in other, you know, I've seen on YouTube or something like that, and I feel like looking into myself. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much all I use that website for. But like I said, I have that as well in the description if you need that one. And then the last thing that I kind of wanted to go over was if you're not familiar with Seaton, he is a YouTuber. He's probably, I think he's the second biggest Grand Cross YouTuber. He recently put out a video where he has updated his tier list. And if we go over to his tier list, if you're a newer player, I figured this would be really helpful for newer players in general to get sort of an idea of what kind of what kind of characters you should really be looking for and going towards, and like trying to summon for on banners and everything like that. Because normally when I start new gacha games and stuff like that, I end up looking up a tier list to see whether or not the characters that I'm pulling right off the bat are any good, or if there's a certain character that I should be trying to go for, if they're on a banner, etc. But yeah, I thought this might be helpful for a lot of newer players. Just in case, I will actually leave a link in the description for his video. I don't have a link to this one or this like archive or anything like that in my description, but I'll send you over to his video where he has a link in that video description for this tier list. So yeah, I thought this just might be helpful because obviously it kind of tells you whether or not the character is good in PvE scenarios, PvP scenarios, where you can kind of get the character. It gives you sort of a small note on what makes that character good or what the character does in general. And it just kind of goes over all of the characters, what rarity they are. It even has their little picture, which is kind of nice. It takes a second for some of these like later ones to load, just because the list is so long. But yeah, he gives them all each like individual scores and stuff like that, which is really nice. And I just think it's very helpful for newer players to kind of get an idea of like what kind of characters you should really be going for in the beginning of the game, and who you should try to prioritize leveling up at the beginning, and etc. sort of things. So that is pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's pretty much all I have for you today. If you guys want to stick around on the channel, we're going to be going over the new patch notes that are going to be dropping, like I said, in like 23 hours. So I'll probably end up staying up and covering those and uploading them shortly after. It always takes me forever to end up uploading them because my internet is pretty slow compared to a lot of the other YouTubers that do Grand Cross. I notice I'm normally kind of late on the patch notes, but it is what it is. So I will see you guys tonight, hopefully, and that is pretty much it. So I'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe and all that jazz, and I'll see you in the next one.